Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever been called lazy? Well, today we have a fantastic story about a boy who was known for being lazy but turned out to be incredibly clever. By the end of this story, we'll see how even someone who seems lazy can learn to work hard and overcome their habits. Plus, we'll pick up some new English words and learn how to use them along the way. So, make sure you stay with us right to the very end. Once upon a time, in a small, quiet village, there lived a young boy named Peter. He lived with his parents in a cozy little house on the edge of town. Now, Peter had a reputation in the village. Everyone knew him as the laziest boy around. Every day, he was supposed to help his father in the rice fields. His one and only job was to chase away the birds that came to eat their precious crops. Most people would use sticks or maybe even a slingshot to scare the birds, which requires a lot of running around. But Peter? He really didn't like to move that much. So, he came up with a clever plan. Instead of chasing the birds himself, he built a series of wooden poles all around the field and connected them with ropes. When the birds landed, he would simply lie down in the shade, pull on the ropes, and the jiggling and noise would scare them all away. This way, Peter could relax and still get his work done. His father often worried about Peter's laziness. He would think to himself, if I ever get sick one day, how will Peter manage everything on his own? But because Peter always found a creative way to complete his tasks, his father never really scolded him. Then, one summer, a long and difficult dry season hit the village. The air was hot, the ground was cracked, and to make matters worse, Peter's father fell very sick. Suddenly, Peter was responsible for taking care of the entire field all by himself. He tried his best, he really did, but he just wasn't used to such hard physical labor. After a few weeks of struggling, the crops began to wither and dry up because they weren't getting enough water. Peter felt helpless. He couldn't save them alone. That night, he sat outside under a blanket of stars, feeling completely useless and disappointed in himself. He thought, why didn't I ever learn to work harder? Now my family's hope is gone. He felt the weight of his past laziness crushing him. The very next morning, Peter was woken by loud voices coming from the village square. Curious, he went to see what was happening. A royal soldier was making a grand announcement. The king was holding a huge competition at the palace. And the prize? The winner would receive a massive chest filled with gold. Instantly, Peter's eyes lit up. This is it. This could save my family, he thought. Without a second of hesitation, he decided to join the competition. But when the villagers heard his plan, they laughed. You? How can a lazy boy like Peter possibly win against the strongest and bravest men from all over the kingdom? They mocked, but Peter didn't care what they said. Their words couldn't stop him. He packed a small bag and left early the next morning. His parents didn't really believe he could win, but they were proud of him for trying and hoped the journey would teach him the value of hard work. After a 3-day journey, Peter finally arrived at the magnificent palace. The first challenge was set to take place near a large, sparkling lake. The rule was simple: cross the lake. The first 3 people to reach the other side would move on to the final round. As soon as the signal was given, everyone else jumped into the cool water and began swimming as fast as they possibly could. But Peter stayed behind on the shore, his mind racing. There's no way I can beat them by swimming, he thought to himself. He knew he wasn't the strongest swimmer. But then, a brilliant idea sparked in his mind. He quickly ran into the nearby forest, gathered some sturdy branches and vines, and in no time, he had built a small, functional raft. He found another piece of wood to use as a paddle and started rowing his way across the lake. Peter smiled to himself. The challenge is to cross the lake, not to win a swimming race. I may not be the strongest, but I can be the smartest. While the other contestants were getting tired from swimming, their strokes becoming slower and weaker, Peter's raft moved steadily and surely across the water. In the end, he comfortably finished in 3rd place, securing his spot in the final round. The next day, the final challenge began. This was it. Each of the 3 finalists was given a huge, heavy block of wood. Their task was to move it 1 whole kilometer to the finish line. Behind them was a collection of different tools, but they were only allowed to choose one. The first contestant, a big, muscular man, grabbed a thick rope, tied it around the block, and started pulling with all his might. The second contestant chose a long, sturdy pole and used it as a lever to slowly nudge his block forward. Peter, however, didn't rush. He stood back, carefully observing the tools and thinking deeply. Then, to everyone's absolute astonishment, he walked over and picked up a small, sharp carving knife. The crowd started whispering amongst themselves, "A knife? What is he thinking? How can a tiny knife help him move that enormous block of wood?" But Peter had a plan. Instead of trying to push or pull the block, he got down on the ground and started carving it. He meticulously chipped away at the wood, smoothing the corners and rounding the edges. After an hour of focused work, Peter stood back and smiled. He had transformed the giant, square block into a big wooden ball. Now it could roll. With a determined push, he sent the ball rolling forward with ease. While the other two contestants were sweating and struggling, inching their blocks along, Peter jogged alongside his rolling ball. With his incredible combination of clever thinking and newfound determination, Peter rolled his wooden ball all the way across the finish line and won first place. The crowd erupted in cheers. No one could believe it. The lazy boy from the small village had outsmarted everyone and become the champion. So, what can we learn from Peter's amazing story? First, creativity can often beat brute strength. Peter may have been lazy, but he used his mind to find unique and efficient solutions to his problems. Second, having a strong reason, a powerful why, can motivate you to change. Peter's desire to save his family pushed him to work harder than he ever had before. When you find your motivation, you can overcome any obstacle, including laziness. Third, smart work and hard work are a winning combination. Being clever is a great advantage, but when you combine that intelligence with real effort and dedication, that's when true success happens. And finally, never underestimate yourself. Even if other people doubt you or laugh at your ideas, believe in your own abilities. Believe that you can achieve great things in your own unique way. Peter's initial failure with the crops taught him the importance of responsibility, and that lesson gave him the strength to win the competition. So, the next time you're feeling a bit lazy, remember Peter's story. Find your strong reason, think creatively, and never, ever give up. Because sometimes, it's the ones nobody expects who achieve the greatest success. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one. We'll see you in the next video.